Welcome back to this Casey Anthony trial special. That was attorney Jose Baez laying out the defense's theory of how little Caylee Anthony died. Our legal panel is here with their take on whether that defense will fly with the jury. Diana Tennis is back, along with Fox News legal analyst Bob Massi, criminal defense attorney Kelly Sandone, and Arthur Aidala is back with us. All right, what did you think of that argument by Baez? Bob, I'll go to you.
Well, I mean, I think it's one of those things that they have to try to come up with some theory as to accidental death of some sort that seemed to be somewhat plausible. Janine, I've watched the show this evening. Great show, by the way. The bottom line is going to be, do they have enough to be able to mitigate? This is strictly mitigation evidence that they're trying to introduce. Nothing more, nothing less.
So are you convinced, Bob, that they will return a verdict of murder? Or are you just saying it's the level, the aggravated child abuse felony murder or murder one? What are you saying, Bob?
Here's what I can't get my arms around, and you've been in that courtroom, and that's much different than us who are out the courtroom. I still can't get my arms around motive. You and I both know that the premeditated act, there has to be a motive. I still can't figure out what was her motive to kill this child. I don't know.
Bob,
and as a
Bob,
result,
the argument is that she and her mother were competing with each other, that her mother, Cindy, didn't like the way Casey was taking care of the child, and there was no way Casey was going to allow her mother to have that child, and that's where it stemmed from.
Okay, and again, you were there more than I've ever been in that courtroom, and I have not been in that courtroom, but again, if that's enough for motive, then yes, and they get a premeditated first-degree murder. I think they overcharged her, myself, from what at least I know, but hey, the evidence will have to play out itself.
All right, Kelly, did they overcharge her?
Absolutely, they overcharged her. I mean, they don't have anything other than circumstantial evidence. There's no proof of how she was actually murdered, if she was murdered, and the fact that she disposed of the body, I mean, it's plausible that she freaked out and panicked. So they definitely went full bore, but you know, this has so much media attention. The prosecutors really want a conviction here, and you know that that includes all of the lesser offenses. So sure, they went as strong as they possibly could.
But Diana, I think what Kelly is saying is that if you don't have a videotape and you don't have an eyewitness, that you can't get a conviction in a circumstantial evidence case. Do you agree with that?
No. Oh, no, absolutely I don't. I'm just not sure you should be able to get one in this case. I mean, the state really doesn't have a good, sensical reason or way this happened. And none of this, neither story makes any sense if you really sit down and think about how did this happen, why did this happen, why today? The problem is the defense, frankly, they've got their #1 world-renowned forensic expert on the stand. They can't get this guy qualified to the point where he can state his own name. They can't ask a non-leading question of their own witnesses to save their lives. And apparently Jose Baez doesn't realize that on the day he claims this accident happened, his client is sending text messages to her father that are not, you know, co-conspirator to co-conspirator. I mean, frankly, the defense has bungled it utterly, but the state has not proved premeditation and, frankly, has not proved how the child died. I think they totally overcharged this
Have
thing.
they proved premeditation, Arthur?
That's the weakest link to that is the weakest link to the puzzle, to the piece of the puzzle. I will tell you where Baez handcuffed himself. And as a criminal defense attorney, judge, I'm a huge proponent of giving the jury your theory of the case and not going up there with the typical opening you've heard 100 times, keep an open mind, the burden is on them. But in this particular case, when he came up with this cockamamie drowning story, he shifted the burden. He shifted it from the prosecutor
Arthur,
to
there's
himself.
no question, and as a judge, I would tell the jury, and I love Judge Perry. I love this guy. He's experienced, he's seasoned, he's a veteran. He's going to say there is no burden on the defense to prove anything. Jury's going to go in and say, we got
Judge,
no
they're not
burden.
gonna
How many
They're
times
not
has a
going to
jury...
forget those sex acts they were promised. You know, they're not going to forget the sex acts they were promised in opening statement. They're not going to forget about that, no matter what the judge tells them. You know that's true.
He's pretty one-sided, Janine. Come on with this judge. I mean, I know he's good, but at least what I've seen, I'm not. Come on now.
Oh,
he's
Bob,
pretty
are
one-sided.
you kidding? This guy has violated all of the discovery orders of the court, and the court is going to refer him to the Florida Grievance Committee. What do you think?
Judge, how many times is a jury
How
many times is a jury disregarded a judge's order? It's not the right thing to do. It's jury nullification. What I'm saying is Casey Anthony may get convicted on general principles. The jury jurors are so upset that this woman went out and got a tattoo that says "Life, La Vita Bella," the beautiful life, when her daughter, admittedly, by her defense attorney, she knows her daughter's dead, and she's partying, she's drinking, she's getting tattoos. The jury's not going to, they're out of order.
Arthur, you may have a point.